Hi guys, welcome to my last video clip for this course. So after you have prepared your script for speech, the last but not least step is to prepare your visual aids. I therefore proudly to present all about visual aids that you should know in this course. And again, your assignment is waiting for you in the team. So at the end of this video, just go back to do your assignments in your team. Okay, let's get started. Let me first give you an overview, starting with the introduction and then reasons to use visual aids, when to use visual aids, different types of visual aids, using slideware, and tips for creating visual aids. Okay. Visual aids can be a very powerful tool to enhance the impact of your presentation. Okay, think of using visual aids for the following reasons. Okay, if they will save words, don't describe your results, just show them. If their impact would be greater than the spoken word, or um, you don't need to describe an image, just show it, right? And words and images presented in different formats, that can appeal directly to your audience imagination, adding power to your spoken words, right? Also, using visual aids during your speech does more than entertain the audience. It also helps them to remember the facts or the information or the thing that you want the audience to remember. And it will also prompt your memory. If you suddenly go blank or lost some points, so visual aids can help you. They're also useful for the audience who have some trouble retaining verbal information and need a visual representation. So you and your information will be far more memorable if you take the time to make relevant and interesting visual aids. This is very important that your visual aids should be relevant and interesting. In terms of the relevant, it should be relevant to the content, to the thing that you want to convey or the thing that you want to communicate. And of course, it should be interesting visual aids as well. Okay. So now moving on to the second point, reasons to use visual aids. Okay. There are many reasons to use visual aids, like improves audience understanding and memory, serve as notes, just to help the speakers, just in case when they are just go blank or get lost, the visual aids can help you, and also provides clearer organization and facilitates more eye contact and motion by the speaker, and also contributes to the speaker credibility. It looks professional when you use visual aids, let's say. Okay, so next, when to use visual aids. Words and images can be used throughout your speech, from the introduction to the conclusion. However, remember to restrict their use to key moments in your presentation. And overuse of visual aids can be hard to follow. So think about using visual aids at the following items, following times. The introduction part, main points, and the conclusion. Starting from the introduction part, okay, display the title of your presentation, define particular technical terms or unit, indicate a structure to your presentation by listing your main points, right? And also display an image which encapsulates or summarize your theme. Is that all the thing that I mentioned is what the visual aids can help you, okay? Then for the main point, it can help you highlight new points with an appropriate image or phrase. Also support technical information with clearly displayed data. Of course, it should come with the graph or chart, right? When we talk about the data or the number, right? So you should use a graph or a pie chart or things like that to help you uh, show your data clearly, right? And then also indicate sequence by linking points together. Also offer evidence from your research to support your argument. In terms of research in here, it doesn't mean that the research that you conducted, like your thesis, like comes up with chapter 1 to chapter 5. No, it just from what you have explored or find the useful information from the internet, from the book, everything, right? So this is the main point. Okay, next, the conclusion. Visual aids can help you summarize your main points on a slide very clearly and effectively. Also, present your conclusion in a succinct or short phrases or image. And also display your key references to allow your audience to read more on your topic. Okay, so now that you know more about when to use visual aids, next we'll talk about different types of visual aids. Wow, okay, there are many types of visual aids, right? The following advice will help you make the most of those most commonly used. But in this video, I will only talk about those types that mostly used in the speech. Okay, starting from PowerPoint or other than that equivalent to PowerPoint, like Keynote in MacBook. If you use the MacBook, you may familiar with the Keynote, right? Okay, okay. We call this a kind of slidewares. In terms of Microsoft PowerPoint, it's probably now the most commonly used form of visual aids, right? And if you use it well, it can really help you in your speech when you have to deliver your speech. But if you use badly, it can have the opposite effect. Okay, so let's come a little closer on the general principles of the do's and don'ts of the using a Microsoft PowerPoint to design your visual aids. Okay, for the do's, use a big enough font, minimum 20 points. Okay, but make it but don't make it so small you can't read it. The audience cannot read it too. Okay, minimum suitable font size is 20 points. Okay, then keep the background simple. Simple is the key for designing your visual aids. Just make it simple. Don't use a fuzzy background image. Okay, then use animations when appropriate, but don't overdo the animation. It get distracting and sometimes it annoy your audience. Okay, make it appropriate. And the last one, make things visual. Do not use endless slides of bullet lists that all look the same. If the thing that you're gonna explain or the content that you're gonna communicate can represent by visual, by image, so use it instead of using the bullet points. It works more than using the bullet point. Okay, image or picture is always the best for any kind of presentation or speech. Okay, so the next types of visual aids is flip chart. A flip chart is a large pad of paper on a stand. Okay, a large pad of paper on a stand, right? It is very useful and flexible way of recording information during your speech. You can use the act of flip back through the path to help you recap your main point. Just show the act of flip back. Okay, so it's convey that okay, you're gonna recap your main points, right? And also use the act of turning of a page to show progression from point to point. Okay, remember to make your writing clear and readable and your diagrams as simple as possible. Okay, try to make it simple and readable. Next, paper handouts. The paper handouts are incredibly useful. Useful. Use a handout if your information is too detailed to fit on a slide, or if you want your audience to have a full record of your findings, or if you want your audience to have a full information of your speech. Just use handouts. Okay, and also consider the act of passing round your handouts at the beginning, middle, and end of a presentation, because given too early and they may prove a distraction. Given too late and your audience may have taken too many unnecessary notes. Given out in the middle and your audience will inevitably read or naturally read or automatically read rather than listen, right? So, one powerful way of avoiding these pitfalls is to give out incomplete handouts at key stages during your presentation or during your speech. You can then highlight the missing detail vocally so that you can encourage your audience to listen to you in order to fill in the gaps and things like that. Okay, so be prepared when you want to use the handouts and keep in mind about this point. Okay, next, video. Video gives you a chance to show stimulating visual information, right? Use video to bring movement, pictures, and sound into your presentation or into your speech. And always make sure that the clip is directly relevant to your content. It should be, or no, it must be relevant to your content, okay? And try to make the link with your words to stimulate their curiosity, your audience curiosity, okay? Try to make your words, try to speak something that will stimulate the audience curiosity, okay? And also tell your audience what to look for before you let them see the video, okay? And avoid showing any more film than you need. Otherwise, it's gonna waste your time, okay? Just show them like um about like 20 or 30 seconds. It's okay. I think it's prop it's uh it's okay for any kind of speech, not too long. Okay, next, artifact or props. Sometimes it can be very useful to use artifact or props when making a presentation or when you giving a speech or explain something in your speech. Okay, just think of like the safety routine of on on a plane when the cabin crews show you like how to use the safety equipment and things like that. Okay, they use prop, right? If you bring an artifact with you or a prop with you, make sure that the object can be seen and be prepared to pass it round a small group. Okay, or you may be prepared to move to a different areas of a large room to help your audience view it in details. But remember that this action will take time. So you should be aware and save your time about this. And that when an audience is immersed or interested in looking at an object, they will find it hard to listen to your talk, your speech. So be careful about this point, okay? And um, I recommend you to conceal your prop or your large props until you need it. They might distract your audience attention. Okay, just review, let them see your prop when you want to talk about it. Okay, so that's pretty much about types of visual aids. Next, we're gonna talk about using slideware. Okay, okay. Using slideware. This guide introduced some general principles to help you make effective use of slidewares. What is it, slideware? Like PowerPoint, Keynotes, any kind of software that help you generate your slides in order to give a presentation or deliver a speech. That's what we call slideware. Okay, it's a kind of new term in this digital era. Okay, so be familiar with this term as well. Okay, first the first step, designing slides. There are a number of features to consider when designing effective uh, PowerPoint slide or Keynote slide. The guidelines given for you to ensure that you create slides that will be easy for your audience to read and understand. Okay, so starting with the using color. One thing that you should bear in mind about using color on your slide is you need to be consistent. How? Um, Ensure or make sure that all of your slides have the same or similar background images and color scheme. Okay, be consistent. For example, like if you use a pastel background or pastel font or things like that. So be consistent with another slides or the rest of the slide that you're gonna show them. Okay, it's gonna make it looks more professional if you be consistent with using the color. Okay, but well, actually it's quite easy in terms of design or using the color because the PowerPoint program or the Keynotes program, they provide a templates, right? What you call templates, so that you can choose the template that you love, and then just types or put your information on that templates, and that's it. No need to think too much about which color I'm gonna use. Is it gonna be consistent? Oh, it's very easy with using the template, right? Okay. So next, um, prepare slides that use a bold color contrast. For example, like black or deep blue text on a cream background. Okay, because some people may think that black and white can be too glaring for some audience. Okay, I would say it depends on your audience. If your audience may be like a kind of more senior, middle age, you should be concerned about choosing the color, right? But if your audience would be like the same age with you, oh, that's gonna be fine. Any color would be okay, right? Next, avoid using red or green for text or highlighting, as it can be difficult to read. Exactly, right? Using using red or green for text, it's not it's not easy to read, except this is, you're gonna see that I also use the red color, but I use only with the topic, right? Just a short topic, just to make it um, just to make it outstanding from other contents, I would say, right? Okay, if you the text that you use in red, it's just the topic, just very short topic, that's fine. okay? Because it's also easy to read, right? Okay, that would be fine. If you would like to use the red color for your text, okay, that's fine if it comes with the topic and short, okay. Next, in terms of using text, avoid using too much text. A useful guideline is the 5 by 5 rules. What is it? 5 by 5 rules. Okay, I will tell you what is 5 by 5 rules. Um, the slides should have no more than 5 bullet points, and each bullet point should be no more than 5 words long. Okay, so on one slide, not more than 5 bullets, and each bullet point should be no more than 5 words. Okay, this proportion would be the best for eye catching and for your audience to to read through your speech or your presentation. Okay, but except my slide, because this is a kind of lecture, not delivering a speech. Okay, it's a lecture, so sorry about too many bullets right here. Okay, next, create bullets point which are clear summarize of key points. It is not necessary for bullet points to be complete sentence. Mm, no need to make it full sentence or complete sentence when it comes to bullet points, okay? And don't mix up your fonts and font size. Too many variations in font size and types can be visually confusing and also look unprofessional, okay? And also bear in mind that readability is a top concern with the font use, okay? Uh, some of you may love to use a font that looks so pretty, or the font that, oh, you think that is cute, modern, pretty, but you need to think about the readability as well, because it's not gonna be so cute for the audience if it's not readability, or if it's not easy to read, to understand, okay. So be aware of this point as well, okay. And next, ensure that your text is at least 20 points, as I said earlier. Otherwise, it may be difficult to read on the screen, okay? And also choose left align for all text to make it easier to read. Left align always work, I would say. And avoid multiple columns of text on a single slide, as they can be difficult to follow on screen. Use bold for a clear and simple form of emphasis and headings rather than uppercase, italics, or underlining. Okay, go with the bold one. Okay, go with the bold text um, would be okay and would be better than using the uppercase or underline your words or make it italics. Okay, go with the bold one would be the best. And also set clear hierarchies for type sites to help your audience distinguish between headings, main text, and other types of text. Set a clear hierarchy. Okay, so next, talking about designing slide layout. In terms of designing slide layout, consider how you can turn your words and concepts into images. Try to think to turn your words, your concepts, your information into images if it's possible. It is easy to simply open up your slideware and start typing in the bullet points that outline your talk. If you do this, you will likely fall into the traps for which PowerPoint is infamous. Okay? Audience remember images better than words. So, if your information, if your content, if your concept can turn to the picture, do it. Okay. In terms of the slide design, focus on simplicity. Make it simple. Don't overcrowd your slide with text and images. Clutter slides are hard to understand. Just make it simple, clean, short, and sweet. Okay, make it clean, simple. Go with the concepts of minimal. Okay. Next, leaving your empty space, also known as white space. Give breathing room to your design. The white space will actually draws attention to your focus point and makes your slide appear more elegant and professional. Okay, leave it with the white space would be can be okay and can also make your slide look elegant and professional. No need to fill it your space with many cartoon characters or cartoon animation or things like that. Okay, and using repetition of color, font, images, and layout throughout your presentation will help tie all of your slides together, right? Be consistent. Okay. Next, talking about the rule of thirds. What is it? A common layout design, which I call the rule of thirds. If you divide the screen or your slide using two imaginary lines horizontally and two vertically, you end up with 9 sections right here. Okay, as you can see on this picture, the most visually interesting and pleasing portions of the screen will be at the points where the lines intersect right here. Okay, so this is the best the best part that you should put your information or your picture, as you can see on the sample of this the rule of thirds. Okay, please consider about this point when you design your layout. Okay, next, understanding how people view images. The Z pattern, and also the not only the image, also the slide as well. uh, if you understand how people view the slide or how people view the image, can help you direct the viewer's attention to the main points of your slide. um, Let me put it in this way. In countries that read text from left to right and top to bottom, like English, Thai, Thailand, English speaking country, and also Thailand. Okay, people tend to also read images and slides the same way, starting from the left to the right, right? Ah, so starting in the upper left of the screen, they read in a Z pattern or the Z pattern, exiting the page in the bottom right corner. As you can see on the sample of the Z pattern right here. So design your layout based on the Z pattern or the Z pattern concept will help your audience easily to make sense and understand your speech very easily. Okay, next, talking about bullets. Bullets. Okay, the widespread use of bullet lists is also hotly debated. PowerPoint is practically designed around the bullet list format, even though it is regularly blamed for dull, boring, tedious presentation if you put many bullets, right? But it's also okay. It also works to use bullet, especially when you use the bullet in your outline on your slide of the outline. Just use bullet. That would be okay. Okay, and but remember, um, there should be only not more than 5 bullets on per one slides, and not more than 5 words in each bullet. Okay. Apart from that, reserve bullet list for specification or explaining the order of process. It's gonna work as well if you use the bullets to explain a kind of process. Okay. In all other cases, look for ways to use images or a short phrase. As I said in the beginning, if you can turn your words, your content into image, do it. Or turn to a short phrases, do it. Okay. But if not, use bullet. It's also okay, but only remember the 5 rules, not more than 5. That would be fine. Okay. Next, quote. Mm. Um, if you do use a quote in your slideshow, in your speech, immediately stop and read it out loud or allow time for it to be read silently. Okay? If the quote is important enough for you to include in your talk, the quote deserves the audience time to read and think about it, right? Make sense? Okay, so give them or allow the time for the quote. You need to um, pay attention and read the quote out loud, or provide sometimes to be read silently. Mm. Because it's important, right? That's why you put the quote in your speech. So if it's important, so why not, right? Why not provide or allow time for them for the quotes? Okay. You can also use a photo of the speaker or of the subject with a phrase from the quote you will be reading them, making the slide enhance the point of the quote. If you can find the picture of the speaker who give a quote, just put it. It will be more interesting, right? Okay. Next, graphs and charts. Okay. If you have numerical number, numerical data that you want to present, consider using a graph or chart because you are trying to make a specific point with the data on the slide. So make sure that the point, the conclusion you want your audience to draw is clear. This may mean that you reduce the amount of data that you present, even though it is tempting to include all of your data on your slide. But what you need to do is just show only the important point. No need to tell them like 10 numbers or the number on the chart on the graph. No need. Just show them or tell them only the important number or the important points that you got from the chart or the graph. Okay, just the key information from the graph. Mm. It is also best to minimize the amount of information and focus instead of the simple and clear conclusion. Mm. And also, you can include the complete data set in your handout if you feel that, oh, it's necessary for my audience to know all of the findings, all of the data. Put it in your handouts. Don't put it all in your slide, okay? Especially when it comes to numerical data. Identifying the meaning of the numbers and exclude the rest. I also recommend. Why? Because you may need to tell the audience that okay, this number means this percent means. Just be be aware that okay, the audience may not know what the number what the number what I mean the audience may not know, oh, what does it mean, this number, what are you gonna tell us, why do I need to know this number, right? So you need to tell them what the meaning of the number, or the meaning of the results of the number means what, right? Okay, try to explain a little bit more on that number that you just shown them. Okay. Mm. Next, pie chart. So when you want to show how the parts relate to the whole and are suitable for up to 8 segments, as long as they remain visually distinct, just start your first slide of the pie chart at 12 with your smallest portion and continue around the circle clockwise as the section increase in size, as you can see from this sorry as you can see from this example. Starting explain the pie chart based on the circle of clockwise. Starting from here, male and then female, based on the clockwise. Okay, it would be proper, and it would be look professional. Okay, next, line graphs. Okay, in terms of line graph, is so easy. Just use a line graph to show the trends over time, or how the data relates or interact, like here. Normally, when we want to show the trends, the progress of any kind of things, we will normally use the line graphs, and it also works. Next, the bar chart. Bar charts are good for showing comparison, right? As you can see on this example right here. Yeah, it's good for showing comparison of sides and for showing precise comparison. And when designing charts, one should use easily distinguishable color with clear labels and data groupings. So you need to be consistent with your color and data grouping when you design your bar chart, okay, your bar graph. And for clarity, avoid using 3D graphs and charts, and removes as much of the background noise like lines, shading, things like that. Try to make it simple, okay? And don't get too complex in any one graph. Make sure your message is as clear as possible. And make sure to visually highlight the conclusion that you want the audience to draw. Explain where to look on your graph. Explain what does it mean. Explain the conclusion. That's it. Okay? Yeah, that's all about designing slide layout. So next, the last point that will be discussed in this video is the tips for creating visual. The first tip is do the slides last. Design, create your script first, and then do the slides. Create your slide only after you have complete your presentation plan or your speech plan and your storyboard or things like do the last thing. Okay, you will have an overlong text-driven linear presentation that will lead to dull text-driven slides. Okay, so make it last. Then edit breathlessly. Edit. If you're working from an PowerPoint presentation, PowerPoint software, or Keynote software, use that as your storyboard and add story structure, edit breathlessly, and also remove visual, verbal, and text clutter. Just edit before you use it, okay? Then use minimal words. Use pictures and diagrams before words, and use words as little as possible on your slide. Use a short word instead of a long word wherever you can. Mhm. Use only noun, verbs, and key phrases on your slide if possible. Try to make it short, precise, minimal. Okay? Next, remember the rule of five, right? Do your best to stick to 5 words per bullet and 5 bullet points per slide. Anything that takes the crowd away from you for more than 5 seconds is probably too complicated and needs to be broken down. Okay? The rule of five. Then, explain jargon. Explain jargon or explain a kind of technical term that you may use, and you may think that okay, the audience may not understand what does that means. Okay, just explain it, your technical term that you use. And also the acronym, like the 3 letters of acronym, for example, like FYI. FYI stand for your information, right? BTW stand for by the way. Ah, if that if those acronyms that you explain on your slide is not a well-known acronym like BTW, is if it's specific letter of acronyms, you need to explain and tell the audience what it stands for. Okay, right? Next, follow a strict slide format. Um, every page is laid out exactly the same, making the whole speech look very consistent. Okay, remember, be consistent, and then you will look more professional. Next, give each slide a single message. Make sure that each slide has a single message, only single contents, only one gist or one main idea on that particular slide. Then, use occasional theoretical models. Use occasional theoretical models and frameworks to structure information, timelines, evaluations of pros and cons, strength and weakness, things like that. Okay, use it to as your model if you want to make it easy for you to design your layout. Just use this kind of models: strength and weakness, do and don'ts, pros and cons, things like that. Okay. And also look for inspiration all around. Follow the example set out there on the internet. It's okay, and it's yeah. I also recommend you to find the example of professional slide layouts or slide shows that were designed by the professional speakers. Notice how they tell a story with a graphics and text, and adapt to your speech or adapt it to your presentation. Okay. And the last thing, make it simple. Very important. You need to make it simple. No need to make it complicated. Okay. Remember that simplicity is a good design principle. Do not overload a visual aids with unnecessary information, color, font change, or irrelevant images. All images that you're gonna show on your slide must be relevant to your content. Okay. Don't use the picture that cannot be linked to any particular point of the contents of the information that you present. Even that image is the image of your your heroes or your boy band, your artist you love. Don't use it if it's not relevant to your content. Okay. Okay, and yeah, that's it for visual aids. I hope this useful for all of you guys. And well, actually, visual aids is not difficult. It's not that difficult for you guys to create and design your visual aids when you have to deliver your presentation or your speech. Okay, but again, try to make use of all of these things that I just discussed in this video and adapt to your design on your slides. Okay, hope it's useful, and don't forget to go back to your Microsoft team to do the assignments. Okay, and here's the reference. Thank you for watching. Bye.